Let's look at my daily process flow. One of the things which I look at always is the market monitor to see what kind of a market we are in. Currently, as you can see, the primary breadth is negative, and the market hasn't been going or making big moves in the sense it gets starts going. The best move was here where I thought like it is going to take out the high and just keep going, but like it hasn't, and then the market has just struggled since then. So that's the thing. So I'm not looking at aggressively looking at anything unless it shows up as something completely must buy kind of a thing or must sell. So that's one of the starting point. But in spite of the market weakness and all, as of now it is still caught in a range, and it's still a few percent from the high. So that still indicates a probability of a breakout to the upside. The only problem has been that the breadth keeps on deteriorating every day. So if you see here, like the breadth keeps on deteriorating, or even you don't see these kind of numbers ever, or they are very rare. So that's one of the things to keep in mind. The things which I would be focusing on is basically episodic pivot. There are a lot of these episodic pivot which are based on biotechs which are happening. In those cases, I'm not interested in buying them on the first day of the pop. I'm rather will wait for them to set up and buy afterward once they set up. So that's one. The In order to find the EP, you have to do your work in the morning itself. Basically, I look at the scans to see biggest gainers, and so I know there are First Solar today, Price Line, you have Z, Kate. So these are stocks which I have already researched, and if I was interested, I would start buying them as soon as the market opens, or most of the time if it is a good game changing EP, then it happens in the pre-market itself. Similarly, on the downside, you will find that this is a trade ideas window which gives me which stocks are down. Your lumber liquidator, HC, Boot, PWR, the Disney, which are down from their high, or like pre-market they are down. The next thing also is based on earnings, like basically the EP are the one which come in with like a lot of neglect, and on earnings day you see them, they are not on anybody's radar because there is no need to have them on anyone's radar because they don't necessarily have any story, and then suddenly have big earnings. So this is a screen which I run in trade ideas, up 3% or more with earnings today, so which immediately once the market opens gives you candidate which had earnings breakout. So that's a good one to have. Anticipation candidate from yesterday, that's really something which I already have worked on in the night, and I already put in some orders in this. I know which one I'm more interested in out of this, and then I will like if they start breaking, I would be in them, or like at least I have orders ready for them. So that's on the anticipation, and more my focus is on anticipation. And even though the focus is on anticipation, there are still breakouts which happen, and these all the rest of the three scans are for finding breakouts. One of the things is in terms of process terms, this all happens in the night anticipation candidate. Even episodic pivot work happens either after the market close or before the market open, because if a stock like say has a very good earnings, it will be announced late in the night, in the late after the market closes, or before the market opens. So that work is all happens, or these two processes, most of the work happens before the market even opens, while this processes must be run during the market. That is the only way you can benefit from them. Something like dollar breakout is basically during the day only. Whatever is not on your anticipation list, there is always randomness in the market, in the sense something which you don't even have in your list will break out, and then the dollar breakout and 4% breakout scans will give you that. The dollar breakout, basically the trade idea stocks with the most upside, doesn't have anything currently, but the most upside is basically momentum. This gives you a stock which basically keeps on going throughout the day. Either you can buy them as a swing trade or for a short term trade, and there is a inverse of that also. There's another thing which I use, which is basically a multi-strategy window, which is already since morning has been started. See, in is up, so it keeps on like showing you stocks which are showing up as the market. Even it runs during the after hours also, as you can see here, pre-market highs. So these stocks had pre-market highs, so it's continuously skip scrolling. One of the uses of this window is that it's like a ticker, in the sense like if there is buying coming into the market, which seems to be in the pre-market today, then you have all green and dark green. If there is not much of a buying, then you have like a light green. And if there is only selling, and sometimes you see throughout the day like only selling happening, or like market opens and now as soon as it opens you see just like red, 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 then it tells you that there is a selling pressure. So it's a useful thing. Then dollar breakout, basically either a stock is up 90 cents or down 90 cents. This is useful to find breakouts on high price stocks, like say a stock which has very high price will tend to show up in the scan quickly. And the way this scan has been structured, if you study it, is it will show a stock early in the morning. So once it comes in on the screen, and this is like how much the stock went up from its open price, kind of a thing. So once it shows up the stock, then you can always look at it, because the first 10 or 20 candidate which show up, they are the best in the morning, because they are the one which had 100,000 volume by the time they come in on the scan, and they are the one which rest of the day keep going up. Like yesterday, if you see tree came in and tree kept on going up, or even I think the Netflix came in, and then you had like even MLM came in later, slightly later. So those are the one which keep going up throughout the day, and they show up early in the scans. So that's really the process. Now the 4% breakout works very well on smaller caps, because the smaller caps tend to have more explosive moves, but like the 4% breakout captures those moves. So 4% breakout I run during the day. So obviously as the market is like slightly this thing, I'm more looking at shorter term, like whole periods of 1 or 2 days, or like not 1 or 2 days, but like 1 or 2 hours, rather than looking at anything overnight, because many stocks have not really followed through. They get going in terms of they have a breakout and nothing happens after that. So that's really the thing. Or many breakouts are like just 1 day affair. Say when you get such a big move in 1 day, there is nothing left in the tank most of the time for the next day, and next day it just keeps going down. Or even if you see some of the, I think IRTX or something, the not IRTX, the ITRX, I think the biotechnology play, I think it's in the anticipation list currently, had a big move that day. But after that, like if you were holding it for anything else, RTRX, like not RTRX, I can't find that. It's a stock which I take. See the big move here, next day, and after that, like just kept on going down, or like it kept on going up the gains. So these are a lot of these 1 day moves which you will see currently, is the nature of the market currently. A lot of big 1 day moves you would have seen in the last couple of days, and then nothing happens, or like they just go sideways. So that's really what is happening. Even blue here, like as a dollar breakout, but didn't really follow through. So I'm looking for short-term things currently, and hopefully the market breaks out of this range. And once the range breakout happens, it will be a bigger thing. But one will have to look at more tactically, because the breakouts are not really like, even the market, like if you see here, hasn't really made much of a progress. Like, and the small caps are really struggling basically, so they need to get going. That's why you don't see much things in the 4% breakout, which is good or small. S&P, see, like since February it's been just chop paste. So that's the daily process flow, and within that parameters of like those things set up is what I look for a candidate based on that. Similarly, you have to work out your own process flow, because you might be trading different methods than me, but the really key is to like have a very strong process, and then keep on improving the process, because unless you have a process, what you're doing is Monday you're doing a different thing, Tuesday you're doing different thing, Wednesday you're doing something else. Somebody says something, then you run there. Somebody says ki look, shorting is good, then you run there. Somebody says ki look, this is good. So by the end of the week you ran in different directions, but you don't have a set process flow. If you have a set process flow, then you are in control, you are not really panicking, you know what to look for, you have the right kind of a tool, everything set up, and then it's just a question of executing things.